Hello friends, welcome to Unacademy GATE ESE. This is your educator Apuroop Rao. You are watching Concepts in Minutes, and in this video we are going to talk about stress strain diagram of ideal materials. You might have seen the stress strain diagrams of ductile and brittle materials. Those are the real stress strain diagrams of real materials. But there are some ideal materials, for example, perfectly elastic material, perfectly plastic material, rigid material. There are different types of ideal materials. So we will see what happens if you draw the stress strain diagrams for these materials. अगर आप इन materials के stress strain diagram draw करो तो वो कैसे दिखेंगे? This video is all about that. If you are watching me for the first time, let me introduce myself. My name is Apuroop Rao, All India rank 320 in GATE Mechanical in my first attempt. I have done my MTech from IIT Kharagpur and my specialization was Mechanical Systems Design. In my final year of MTech, I was recruited by Mahindra and Mahindra. I was placed at Mahindra Research Valley, where I was a part of some really interesting projects like KUV and TUV. After 2 years, I decided to quit my job and I started teaching. So I've been teaching for more than 6 years now, and I teach subjects related to design, strength of materials, machine design, engineering mechanics, and theory of machines. Now let's move on to the stress strain diagrams of ideal materials. So we have seen the stress strain diagrams of ductile and brittle material. आपने डक्टाइल और ब्रिटल मटेरियल के स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन डायग्राम तो देखे होंगे. फॉर एग्जांपल, दिस इज द स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन डायग्राम ऑफ अ डक्टाइल मटेरियल, राइट? सिमिलरली, this is the stress strain diagram of a brittle material. ठीक है. Now these stress strain diagrams are real life stress strain diagrams. These stress strain diagrams are the stress strain diagrams of some real materials. This is the stress strain diagram of mild steel. This is the stress strain diagram of cast iron, which are real materials. But what about ideal materials? There are a lot of ideal materials which do not exist in the world, but for some analysis we assume the material to be ideal. For example, in engineering mechanics, we assume the material to be rigid. So for that purpose, if you draw the stress strain diagram of rigid material, what will be the stress strain diagram? तो अब हम एक एक करके देखेंगे कि अगर आप इन आइडियल मटेरियल्स का स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन डायग्राम ड्रॉ करें तो वो कैसे दिखेंगे. Now let me tell you, these stress strain diagrams are not real. They are just imaginary stress strain curves because these materials do not exist in the world. ये material actual material तो है नहीं, तो हम जो stress strain diagram अब draw करने वाले हैं वो सिर्फ imaginary stress strain diagrams हैं. अगर आप उस मटेरियल के लिए स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन डायग्राम ड्रॉ करें तो वो कैसा दिखेगा, बस हम ये देख रहे हैं. ओके, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल ड्रॉ द स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन डायग्राम ऑफ अ परफेक्टली इलास्टिक मटेरियल. So let's say this is strain, this is stress. So what do we mean by perfectly elastic material? So a perfectly elastic material is one in which there will be no yielding, there will be no plastic deformation. It will always remain elastic, means the stress strain curve will be a straight line from the start till the end. जीरो लोड से लेके फ्रैक्चर पॉइंट तक जो स्ट्रेस स्ट्रेन डायग्राम रहेगा वो लीनियर रहेगा. इट विल बी अ perfect straight line. So this is a perfectly elastic material. In strength of materials, when we derive the equation of bending stress, torsion, then we assume that the material always remain elastic. So this is the stress strain diagram of that material. Next we will see the stress strain diagram of rigid material. So if I draw the stress strain diagram of a rigid material, then how it will look? Understand, a rigid material is one in which there will be no deformation, means the strain will always be zero. Rigid material में strain हमेशा zero रहेगा. So if you draw the stress strain diagram of a rigid material, it will look something like this, right? कुछ ऐसा दिखेगा. It will look something like this. It will always remain a vertical line because the strain will always remain zero. So this is the stress strain diagram of a rigid material. Now let's draw the stress strain diagram of a perfectly plastic or rigid plastic material. परफेक्टली प्लास्टिक होने का मतलब क्या होता है? अंडरस्टैंड, ड्यूरिंग द प्लास्टिक डिफॉर्मेशन there is no increase in stress, almost constant stress, and there is increase in strain. During plastic deformation there is increase in strain at almost constant stress. So perfectly plastic material will be one in which up to yield point there will be no deformation. Yield point तक कोई strain नहीं रहेगा, and after yield point we will have deformation at constant stress. After yielding हमारे पास constant stress पे deformation आएगा. So this will be a perfectly plastic behavior. इसको हम rigid plastic, perfectly plastic भी बोलते हैं. This is also called as rigid perfectly plastic material. Okay. Next one is elastic perfectly plastic material. Now what do we mean by elastic perfectly plastic? Understand, this is rigid perfectly plastic. What will be elastic perfectly plastic? In case of elastic perfectly plastic material, up to yield point the material will remain elastic, but after yield point the material will behave as perfectly plastic. So this is elastic perfectly plastic material. Elastic perfectly plastic material. Up to yield point elastic, after that perfectly plastic. Okay. Next is linear strain hardening material. अब लीनियर स्ट्रेन हार्डनिंग का मतलब क्या होता है? अंडरस्टैंड, in case of actual strain hardening we get a curve after the perfectly plastic deformation. After the yielding starts we get a curve like this, right? We get a curve like this. But in case of linear strain hardening, what is going to happen? After the yielding starts and after the strain hardening starts, it will remain linear like this. So this is linear strain hardening, means up to yield point it will remain straight, and when the strain hardening will become, again it will remain straight. And what will be the strain hardening coefficient? the strain hardening coefficient will be n equals to 1. Understand what is strain hardening coefficient? Do you remember this equation? Sigma t equals to k into epsilon t whole to the power n. This is the approximate relation between true stress and true strain during strain hardening. Strain hardening के टाइम पे ये जो कर्व बनता है, इस कर्व की ये अप्रोक्सीमेट रिलेशन है सिग्मा टी इक्वल्स टू के इंटू एप्सिलॉन टी होल टू द पावर n. तो बेटा लीनियर स्ट्रेन हार्डनिंग मतलब n is equal to 1. Okay, so you will get sigma t equals to k into epsilon t. It's a straight line equation. So this is that equation. So I hope that now you guys understand the stress strain diagram of different ideal materials. You might get 1 mark question in different exams from this concept. इस concept के ऊपर अलग अलग exam में 1 mark के question आ जाते हैं. What will be the stress strain diagram of rigid plastic material or elastic perfectly plastic material or linear strain hardening material? तो बेटा ये हैं कुछ stress strain diagram of ideal material. This is perfectly elastic, rigid, perfectly plastic, elastic perfectly plastic, linear strain hardening. इसके अलावा if you want to understand the stress strain diagram in detail, if you want to study this subject in detail, you can watch my free lectures of strength of material. I have taken free lectures on engineering mechanics, strength of material, in theory of machines, vibration, machine design. You can watch all my free lectures and you can download the notes of these lectures by opening this one link. इस एक लिंक को ओपन करके आप मेरे सारे फ्री लेक्चर्स और उनके नोट्स देख सकते हो. जस्ट गो टू एनी वेब ब्राउजर, आप कोई भी वेब ब्राउजर खोल लीजिए and type this tinyurl.com/apuroop10. You will open this page where you will find the links of all my classes. आप इस पेज को खोल लीजिए, आपको मेरी सारी क्लासेस की लिंक मिल जाएगी. I have put all the links in these Excel sheets. You will find Excel sheet for every subject of design. SOM, MD, EM, TOM, सबके लिए आपको एक एक Excel sheet मिल जाएगी. Okay. And if you want to watch my live lectures, if you want to know when my live lectures will come, what will be the links of my live lectures, then just follow my Telegram channel. This is my personal Telegram channel. Go to Telegram app, search Apuroop 10 and follow this personal Telegram channel. You will get the links and notifications of all my upcoming classes. And if you want to study with the top educators of India in a structured course, अगर आपको एक फुल स्ट्रक्चर्ड कोर्स में पढ़ना है गेट और ईएससी के लिए, जस्ट लाइक यू आर स्टडिंग इन अ क्लासरूम कोचिंग, देन जॉइन अनअकैडमी प्लस. अनअकैडमी प्लस पे यू आर गोइंग टू गेट ऑन टाइम क्लासेस, वीकली क्विजेस, डेली असाइनमेंट, ऑनलाइन टेस्ट सीरीज, डाउट क्लियरिंग सेशन, पर्सनल गाइडेंस एंड व्हाट नॉट. आपको क्लासरूम कोचिंग से भी बेटर एनवायरनमेंट मिलेगा. यू विल गेट एवरीथिंग in Unacademy Plus subscription. One subscription and you can watch multiple lectures, you can join multiple batches, you can follow multiple educators. So if you want to be a part of Unacademy Plus, India's biggest online learning platform, then take 1 year or 1.5 year or 2 year subscription. You can use this code in order to get 10% off Apuroop 10. And if you use this code, it means you will get the personal guidance of Apuroop. अगर आप ये कोड यूज कर रहे हैं मतलब आपको मेरा पर्सनल गाइडेंस चाहिए. तो ड्यूरिंग योर एंटायर प्रिपरेशन आई विल बी योर गाइड, आई विल बी योर मेंटर. एंड बेटा यू कैन पे दिस फी इन EMI विदाउट एनी एडिशनल कॉस्ट. आप बिना किसी एडिशनल कॉस्ट के इस फी को EMI में भी पे कर सकते हैं. ओके. And you can also take Unacademy Iconic subscription. What is the difference between Plus and Iconic? In Iconic subscription, you get a personal coach who will make your entire study schedule, who will prepare your entire study material, who will take one-on-one sessions. Your personal coach will analyze your test scores, where you are making mistakes, how you can improve those. So whatever you need, your personal coach will provide you that. So if you want a personal coach, take Unacademy Iconic subscription for 1 year or 2 year using the same code. आप वही कोड यूज करके Iconic subscription भी ले सकते हैं. Now, if you need to discuss anything about your preparation or about Unacademy, then you can always message me on Unacademy app. आप Unacademy app पे जाइए, मेरा नाम search कीजिए Apuroop, you will follow me there and you can message me there. Whatever your queries regarding preparation or subscription is, you can message me. Now before leaving, don't forget to hit the like button, share the link and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for me, you can write it in the comments. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.